Well, it was another crazy weekend in Daytona Beach, Florida, and we've got a lot of action to cover this weekend, so let's dive right into it. All right, we're going to start off the weekend the same we always do, ignoring the IndyCar because I couldn't be bothered to find footage this week. But we're going to start off Friday night with the ARCA Menard Series at Madison International Speedway in Wisconsin, Cheese Country. We got a 200-lap feature on the half-mile track. We've got Max Reeves in the 18 car for Joe Gibbs Racing. Starts on pole, and this is a very fast racetrack. There were multiple grooves of racing, high and low line all day, but nobody had anything for the 18 car, who led flag to flag all 200 laps and scored the win over LeVar Scott and Butterbean. It is his second win of the season in only 4 starts. Not too bad for a part-time this year, but that JGR horsepower always comes to play hard. So later on Friday night, we have the Xfinity Series at Daytona International Speedway down in Florida. And when it comes to Florida this time of the year, there is monsoons. And it completely washed out qualifying for both series this weekend. So qualifying is set on a really contrived owner's points system, and it doesn't make a ton of sense for those who don't know, so we'll just skip over that detail. But the broken back man, Connor Zilisch, he was cleared to start this race today, and because of that point system, he was going to start this race on pole, but he's going to fall to the back and get replaced by the super sub Parker Kligerman as soon as they possibly can, just so Connor doesn't accidentally hurt himself. And we'll see why that was a good decision later on. Well, with Connor credited to the pole, dropping to the rear, we hand the front row over to Sam Mayer and Sammy Smith, and we get this race started. And the field remains double file pretty much the entire time. No good lane can seem to get a run over the other. This is something that happens with super speedways sometimes, especially with the Xfinity Series car. So there's a specific rule in this series that you're not allowed to bump draft. It's when you come up to the bumper of the car in front of you and push them along, and that's physically touching. In the Cup Series, you're allowed to do that, but in the Xfinity Series, they try to avoid the big wrecks here just because the cars aren't technically as safe as the Cup cars. So they discourage this with penalties. That doesn't stop them from doing it, though. But only after about 10 laps, we got a spin from Harrison Burton. And then during that caution, we had a lightning strike. And as per policy, that is a 30-minute delay right then and there. And it looks like there are more rain clouds coming through the area. So now the intensity is about to ratchet up, because NASCAR may not necessarily let these guys run too terribly late into the night. And it's going to be very close to midnight by the time this race ends. And all eyes are on the radar for the remainder of the race as they get back underway, and Sammy Smith ultimately wins Stage 1. Stage 2, it's fairly uneventful, no cautions, and the win goes to Justin Allgaier in the 7 car, getting another extra playoff point to go into the playoffs after, I believe, next week at Darlington. But the chips are down in the race for the win. And as a surprise to nobody and everybody, Ryan Sieg continues to attempt to defy the odds to get his first career win. And it seems fate hits him at every single turn. So many times he's been in a position to steal a win, both as an underfunded driver and team. These guys have nothing. If there is a back marker in NASCAR, these guys are it. And unfortunately, the racing gods do not favor for him today, as with just 4 laps to go, he gets turned and causing the big one, which sets up an interesting overtime. We've got Junior Motorsports teammates, Super Sub Parker Kligerman alongside Justin Allgaier, and they go up front and battle hard for the lead. Kligerman does get a really big push and up to the front, and he gets to play some hard defense across both lanes, and they make it back to the white flag unscathed, but that's when Justin Allgaier makes his move on the inside and the duel is on. But on the backstretch, Parker pulls just ahead, and another big one starts out in turn 3 and ending the race right then and there. And Parker Kligerman, interesting factoid, this is his 2nd win of the season that he will not receive credit for. Back in February in the truck race at Daytona, he won that race outright as well, but unfortunately was disqualified in post-race tech inspection. So, man, it sucks sometimes. 2 wins, and you get 0 credit for it in the history books. And he does win over teammates Sammy Smith in the 8 and Justin Allgaier in the 7. And having started the car by rule, Connor Zilisch gets credited with the win and the points, but he does not receive playoff points to the championship. However, in the fight for the regular season championship, which I cannot believe he has it locked up by now, he does get the full race points that Parker has earned for him tonight with his technically 8th win of the season. Absolutely insane. But after Friday night shenanigans are up, we go into Saturday night for the NASCAR Cup Series. Things are beautiful today, no threat of rain, but because the qualifying was also washed out, we have Ryan Blaney is sitting on the pole alongside Alex Bowman. Bowman, if you recall, he is on the playoff bubble. If there's a new winner tonight, he has to beat Tyler Reddick by several positions to get into the playoffs. So immediately the tension is high. And racing is intense from the get-go until one of the bubble drivers, the other guy, Tyler Reddick, gets spun into the inside wall, and now there's a dangerous playoff situation if there's a new winner. And then later on, as we get winding down to the end of stage 1, Bubba Wallace and Kyle Busch do a little pincer maneuver on Joey Logano on the bottom lane there, and they trigger the big one with 9 to go in the stage. And unfortunately, this one also collects Alex Bowman a little bit, and now nobody knows what the playoff situation is going to look like. And fans are a little bit split on who was at fault here. Watching the replay, I don't see anywhere that Busch or Logano could have gone. Maybe Logano probably should have put his car there, but he had all the room in the world to do so. I'm not the Joey Logano defender, but this one I'm gonna have to place on Bubba Wallace, and the fans seem to agree on that one. Up front, we've got Kyle Larson and Ryan Blaney side by side going for the stage win. Kyle Larson ultimately takes it. For stage 2, the Fords are now up front with another surprise driver from an underfunded team. This time, Cody Ware, representing Rick Ware Racing. He is leading the way over Brad Keselowski until the road course ace of the season, Shane Van Gisbergen, takes over for a little bit as well, leading for a portion of this race, getting some valuable leading time on an oval. He's starting to figure these oval tracks out a bit. If he wins on an oval next year, I think we completely write off the playoffs because this guy's going to just start winning. Watch it happen. I'm going to say it right now. After green flag pit stops, we've got Hendrick Motorsports up front going for the stage win with just a few laps to go. But when it all came down to the end, Ross Chastain ends up swiping it away. Stage 3, the Fords are back up front like they always are at these super speedways. We've got Joey Logano leading the way until with just a few laps to go, he gets spun out of the lead. And there was quite a huge crowd reaction from this one, including from yours truly. And with the restart with 8 laps to go, most of the top 10 now are in a must-win situation. And this is when the intensity is really going to start showing. This is where mistakes are going to be made, and somebody is going to risk everything to try to make it into the playoffs. The field gets 3 wide, taking the white flag, and we've got Cole Custer up front and Justin Haley surprisingly taking the lead away in that Spire Motorsports car. Maybe he could finally win his way into the playoffs. But from 13th place with 2 laps to go, we have a hard charging Ryan Blaney sneaks past everybody, and as they come to the start finish line, it is 4 wide at the line with Ryan Blaney stealing the win over Daniel Suarez and Justin Haley, both of whom are going to miss the playoffs by just that little bit. And since Blaney is already a winner this season and is locked in, Alex Bowman and Tyler Reddick both make it into the playoffs as well, with Bowman saying that he owes Blaney about 7 million beers now. Good luck cashing that one in, but you know what? It's the thought that counts. And that is it from Daytona International Speedway. Next week, the playoffs begin for the Cup Series, and it's the regular season finale for the Xfinity Series. Cup and trucks are going to be both at Darlington, and Xfinity is going to be racing at the road course in Portland, Oregon. IndyCar, Nashville Super Speedway, a fast NASCAR track, and F1 finally returns at the Dutch Grand Prix at Circuit Zandvoort. Somebody else can explain that one. But until then, y'all have a fantastic rest of your week, and I'll catch y'all next time. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. We finally got some more videos coming out. I did a ride-along this past week at Daytona. I'll be doing another one this week at Darlington. That one will be very entertaining because I don't think I've ever finished a race at Darlington, and it's going to be in the trucks. So we'll see how that goes. Until then, see y'all in the shorts and see you next time.